Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in WordPress for June 15th. I am BJ Keaton, your host, here with Elegant Themes. Every Friday we get together to talk about the best news, tutorials, and resources that were published this week about WordPress. So if you have anything that you want to talk about that was awesome this week, just throw it in the comments. Let's be friends and let's get to it. All right, everybody. I wanted to say hello, hello, hello. You may notice that I'm not quite as chipper and loud as I usually am, and maybe as energetic. I have one gigantic sinus infection right now, so my voice will probably go out pretty soon. So I wanted to at least get on here and talk to you guys today. Say hi, share these links that the people have put together this week, and see how everybody is doing. There's no way I would miss this. I just may not be able to speak after a few minutes. So bear with me, and might as well do what we can. So I hope everybody is absolutely fantastic. I hope that your week has been wonderful. If you have not joined us before, the way that the show works is we have all sorts of links in the description of this video, either on YouTube or on Facebook, directly below you. You can follow along. You can get a lot of resources and awesomeness there, and we talk about them in the comments. So feel free to throw anything in the comments that you want. If you have any questions, about Divi or Elegant Themes or WordPress or what to cook for dinner tonight, whatever it is, I'm sure somebody will have either an answer or an opinion. So we're just a nice big happy family here. So just throw them in there, and that's kind of what we do. So I wanted to start out this week by like the news this week. There wasn't anything major that actually happened, but it's going to happen. Today was the start of WordCamp Europe. I talked a little bit about that yesterday, or last week, excuse me. I may have talked about it yesterday too. I don't remember at this point. At WordCamp Europe started today. I talked a little bit about that last week, and it's in Belgrade, Serbia. So that is available on live stream. Someone asked about that yesterday, or my goodness, asked about that last week, and there is a live stream going on for all of the panel, so you can check it out. That's the first thing in the news description today. That there is a live stream and links to it, and you should also be able to find it on WordPress.tv. So that that will keep you going if you're nowhere near Serbia, like I'm directly across the world from it. That said, there have already been panels. It started this morning, and they have shown Matt Mullenweg, the creator of WordPress. If you're not familiar with him, he did a keynote speech at WordCamp EU, and he basically said that we're getting Gutenberg and WordPress 5.0 in August. That is the big news this week that I saw. Like, it came out today, and I was looking through news, and I was just like, you know what? Everything else can go under resources. Everything else can do this. Like, we have to talk. We have to say to prepare ourselves for Gutenberg come August. They're not 100% certain on that, but that's what they're aiming for. They're looking by the end of this month, June, to hopefully be done with a full list of features that then they can just refine into a release candidate over July and the better part of August. So we should be seeing WordPress 5.0 within the next few months, they said. There is a link on, the second one is a link on Torque, where they talk about it and the things that he says specifically, and then there's a link underneath that where the Gutenberg team had a panel, and they're discussing what's going on and how that's going to affect the rest of WordPress and what they're doing. They talk about, if it will kill page builders and what they're trying to do about that, stuff like that we're worried about as a community, and I say worried about, but it's there. We're talking about it. It's not even a worry so much. It's something a discussion that we've all had to have. So it's pretty big. The way that they were talking about the page builders being affected is that they're trying, they say, to make it easy to implement things, to use Gutenberg as a springboard to do bigger and better things. If that's the case, then you know, we here at Divi at Elegant Themes are going to be great with that. I mean, we have a fantastic product already, as I think you guys know, and being able to integrate it with more blocks, more options, however we do it, isn't only going to be a good thing. So I have no idea how the integration will work, but I'm assuming we're all going to know by August whenever 5.0 comes in. So I think that's something that that was pretty newsworthy, to be completely honest. Excuse me, I see some comments on YouTube here. I haven't seen any come in on Facebook yet, but I see that I am not patient zero, I promise. This is just an allergy-related sinus infection. My immune system has been down for a while, and it finally just got the better of me. Oh goodness, Charter Spectrum is blocking Matthew Turner's emails being sent from home because they go through business servers. Oh my goodness. And Uncle Social says that the competition of Gutenberg can only make page builders better. The pressure will be on Divi. And header and footer customization, it's coming. Dude, it's coming. We are working on that. This literally comes up every day from somewhere and somebody, whether it's a joke like this or somebody legit asking, hey, are you guys ever going to do this? It is something that we're working on right now. So if you're watching, I promise you that header and footer customization is coming. And yeah, it's going to put pressure on us. I mean, there's no way around it. Competition is a good thing. It's going to make us better. It's going to make Elementor better. It's going to make Beaver Builder better, and everything else out there, X and Visual Composer. All of us are going to have to get better in order to compete with Gutenberg. If there is a default, we just have to be that much more fantastic. And I think given the things that are coming up in the pipeline, that we are prepared for that. And I hope that the rest of the companies are too, because honestly, I wish them nothing but success. I mean, why would I not? So that's the news this week. Check those out. And the reason I say that's the news is because those are all available by live stream, that you can watch the entire WordCamp EU on online, so you don't have to worry about missing any panels. The tickets are completely sold out, so if you were thinking about going just last minute, you can show up, but they don't have any tickets. I'm not sure if they do on-site tickets, but it's available to watch. I think that you guys will get a lot out of that. I know I've never been to a WordCamp where you didn't, and it's awesome. You know, moving into the tutorials, like I said, I'm going to be moving through this kind of fast today before my head explodes on camera, because nobody wants to see that. The tutorials, when I saw this one this week, I just absolutely had to click it. It was a Smashing Magazine article that was how to turn your users into advocates, and I really have talked about this a bunch. I'm very hardcore into this. This is my #1 thing about marketing. When I did my books, it was all like street marketing and you know, guerrilla out on the streets, street team kind of marketing. And you want users to be your advocates. That if you're putting out a product that no one talks about, then that's a product that is not going to be able to grow. Everything that you love, just think about it. Every single product that you love, you have talked to about someone. Not products that you kind of like, but when you truly love something, you tell other people about it. That you're being an advocate for that product. Excuse me. And so they're talking about ways on Smashing on why advocacy is great. Like I said, you know, you get authentic reviews, you get it out there, you get customer feedback, which is also fantastic. Because, I mean, we don't have header and footer customization. It is a lacking feature. It's crazy. But we're fixing that because you guys want it. And I mean, yeah, it's a long time coming, but it's taken a while for us to actually be able to get it to be right where we want it for you guys. But that's the kind of thing that you guys are advocating for yourselves in that. And the thing is that they talk about that happens a lot is that people get the idea of brand loyalty and brand advocacy confused. That those are not the same things. They talk about that loyal customers are the ones who stick with your brand. That if you drive a that if you drive a Toyota and that is all you ever drive, that's brand loyalty. Because you're returning to do that. You're a return buyer, they said. But you may not talk about that to other people. You may not be comfortable sharing information about that publicly. You might not. I mean, honestly, I drive in the South, and I drive a Prius. I really do, and it's getting better over the last 12 years since I got my first Prius. But it is. It could get a little bit weird when people would talk about when hybrids were new and people with their big trucks didn't know about it. So it's one of those things. And Michael, I have a Mazda as well. I have a Mazda 2. My wife has a Mazda 2. It is awesome. So I'm right there with you. When she upgrades, it'll be a Mazda 3 or higher. Because we just needed a small gas efficient one at the time. But absolutely, it has been a fantastic car. So I'm right there with you. And that's what advocacy is. Michael is absolutely right. That they're promoters, they're referrers. You know, it's like, hey, I know this guy at the Mazda dealership, and you go over there. People who share that content on social media. If you share things from, say, The Nerdist or from Elegant Themes blog, that's what you're doing, is advocating for that service out there, and that's the kind of stuff that you want. That's what you want to actually drive your business, or getting advocates for that. I mean, you guys, honestly, I think every person tuning in right now is probably a brand advocate of Elegant Themes, because it's a Friday afternoon and you're watching a live stream where we just talk about WordPress and we talk about Divi. That's more than brand loyalty generally. It's like, oh yeah, I like that. I use this to make my website. That's something people do with Squarespace. But you're probably not going to tune in. I talk about Buffer a lot because I listen to their podcast, and then I tell other people about that podcast and about that product because I like it. So if they go through how to encourage all of this and creating a UX to become an advocate, and I just really, really wanted to point this article out to you guys because I want you to do this. Like, this is the single most important thing in terms of marketing, if you ask me. I mean, I'm not a marketer, don't get me wrong. I know analytics and all that. My podcast partner would just roll his eyes at me right now and be like, no, because he's a CMO. And it would be absolutely crazy if he would be like, no. But for me, like, thinking about it from a content creator standpoint in marketing, you guys are where it's at. So I think that you should read up on that and get into it. I see some more comments here. Headers and footers. Yeah, Matthew, a little PHP and some help from Edward and support, or you're all set. I was dealing with that this morning. Not Edward, but the PHP. I was working on editing stuff like that using CSS and PHP, and that is exactly why we need a header thing. You're right, Gutenberg does not have my charisma, Nick's hair, or Mac's biceps, and it certainly does not have Donyetta's smile. You also left out Nathan and Jason, and Matt, so we're going to have to know what they bring to the table too, Uncle Social. You have to let us know what they have. And Kier says down a little bit below, new to WordPress and Divi, is there any possibility of Divi introducing a blog module that's filterable by tag? I think that's already an option. Don't mark my words. I don't know if I can log in and see that. I think you can already do that under the settings, because I know I've done it by category before. You should be able to do it by tag as well. I may be making that up just because I've done it by category. I'm actually going to log in on one that I use the blog module for and see right now, because I think that's possible. If it's not, then you're absolutely right, and that's something that we need to get thrown in there and let the dev team know. The best place to put that in, honestly, is I always tell people this. I tend to get people to roll their eyes at me when I say it, but the best place to put that kind of thing in is in our support forums. So if you go into your membership, if you go into your membership sign in to where you downloaded Divi, and go into the forums, you'll be able to check that out and put in that particular request, and just make a thread and be like, hey, this would be a really good thing, because they do read those. I know I've had people be like, they don't read the comments, they don't read the forums. I'm like, yeah, I promise you that we do. Our support team and our everything goes through there. So there's the blog module. Okay, so I'm opening this up to see. Just let's see if I'm wrong. Let's see if I'm wrong on how I do this. I've got categories. No, I was totally wrong. I'm so sorry, Kier. That would be the best way then. The only other way I know is to do, you can do it with a PHP filter, which is absolutely annoying and not something that any of us want to do, except the masochists out there who like writing PHP. And I know you're out there. I'm assuming it's Matthew who likes doing that. But no, I am so sorry I was wrong. I'm looking through everything right now, and I just see the categories. Ugh, I hate being wrong so much. You're absolutely right. Being able to filter by tag would be great. I'm not sure if it's there. I would check out places also like Divi Cake and Divi Space and see if they offer that kind of module as well. There might be a third-party option from the community that does that. I'm not sure, but I know that those companies and others have different modules out there. But like I said, go ahead and put in a thread about that and say, hey, this would be something I like, because that is how we get that feedback that I was talking about earlier, because that is absolutely the best. I see. Yep, Spider-Man's behind me. I think he always will be. I love him so very much. He has been with me since I think I was 14 years old. So I've had him for 21 years now, and he is going nowhere. And speaking of brand advocacy, I can't wait for Into the Spider-Verse on coming into theaters this year at the end of this. And so I'm super excited. Man, I am super excitable, don't get me wrong. But, oh my goodness, there are comments on Facebook that I actually haven't seen. Ed, you are more than welcome. The tutorials and everything like that specifically are designed. You say you're a beginner and you need lots of help. That is one of the kind of things that we are doing this stream for, and a lot of our other streams that you can check out on Monday mornings and Tuesday afternoons, where you can see a lot of the, like, I don't want to say day-to-day, but the step-by-step processes of using Divi through those, because Mac and Jason and Donietta go through all of those. So that'll be awesome for you, I think. You can check out our schedule. It is always going to be Monday morning with Mac at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, and then we have one on Tuesday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the same time as this one. So, hi, Bianca to Berlin. That's awesome. Hi, Dominic. And my wife uses neti pots. I've never used a neti pot, Ed, for my sinus infection. I'm scared of it, and so I've never done it. But this time, the way that this one is making me feel, there's a really good chance I'm going to go across the street to CVS and buy me a neti pot. So we will see if that happens. But sorry about missing your comments until just now. My Facebook window was just showing the description instead of the comments down there. And yes, Kier, third-party module, Divi filterable blog. Yeah, that's okay. Let me do this. There is a third-party module for that. That alone may push that down the development tree. Yeah, we need that. Put that in there. That would be fantastic. We do need that thread, absolutely. That ends up getting pushed down a little bit when there is a third-party one, because we do encourage the community to kind of fill in those gaps that we want. That's something that we really are pushing, especially with the developer update that came. And I think we're going to be pushing that a lot more over the next year. Not to fill in any gaps because we don't want to do it, but because we want to showcase what you guys do. So it's we love you guys, and we want to know what you're doing so that we can say, hey guys, look at this. This fixes this problem. At least, and I do that, and I know that the company does as well. And Decide Hosting, where can you buy a Divi t-shirt? You can either buy Matthew Turner's for $100, so like he says in the comments, or you can get one for free at any of the official Divi Nation meetups that I know that we've done at WordCamps and things like that. As far as I'm aware, those are the only places where you can get one. That's actually where I got this one. I worked here for about 3 months and didn't have one until we went to Nashville at WordCamp. WordCamp US, and went together, and we had t-shirts to give away. So I know I can guarantee you that we will have Divi shirts to give away in Nashville, Tennessee at WordCamp US, and we will absolutely do that. I'm not sure about others, and I don't know when we're coming to India. You know, that would be something interesting. We do various trips and we do different things as a company. I know that's not where we're going this year, but I would not count it out at any other time. Nick and a lot of the others look for different places for, say, company retreats or for, you know, being able to check out WordCamps and Divi meetups and different conferences and where a lot of our users are. And we do have a lot in India that would be very good. So I would not count out. I have no idea when, but I'm not saying that would not be a possibility, because I know that we have traveled quite a bit to do stuff like that. So that would be awesome. I would love to go to India. That would be so much fun. I would love to. So keep pushing at us. Push it the higher ups. Let's go to India. So that would be great. Bianca on Facebook is actually asking, does Divi work with WooCommerce, and are there special features to use Woo with Divi? Bianca, yes, we do work with WooCommerce. Unfortunately, the way that WooCommerce is set up for their individual blog pages or their individual product pages, we can't use the builder on that. There is a Divi.space module builder, a Divi.space third-party module plugin. Man, I cannot think of the word plugin, called Page Builder Everywhere that you can use with that. There's also a plugin, I believe it's called, is it Woo Injector, that lets you do that, guys, and lets you mess around with that? It's I can't think if that's what it's called, but those are the way to do that. And there are different things in there. We do have a storefront module for WooCommerce that if you go into your builder and just as you're looking at any of the modules, like text or image or accordion and all of that, there's one called Storefront, I believe. It's either store or storefront. And you can see that, and that will be able to pull in WooCommerce products and things like that. So there's a few. If you look at the blog, elegantthemes.com/blog, there are quite a few articles about specifically using WooCommerce and Divi together and getting the most out of it. We do a lot of that. We absolutely want WooCommerce to be in there. It's just the way that the WooCommerce stuff goes and is done that we don't have the builder on there on the pages. I'm hoping that'll be fixed. That's one of mine, y'all. You know, we're talking about things that are fixed by third parties. I'm hoping that the WooCommerce one gets fixed soon, because that's honestly, and y'all know it too, that's a pain point that we all want to fix. So in the tutorials, more than that, the 10 steps to design a wildly effective CTA that converts from Gamefly, goodness gracious, from Get Flywheel. It is great, and it's kind of information that a lot of marketers may know, but that is something that it's got a lot in there, like using colors right and not being annoying with them and things, just to be a reminder that you don't want it to blend in too much with your website. I've had websites who use their pop-ups but make it the same color as their background, so I just end up clicking out of it because I'm moving anyway, and it's just, there are best practices, and they really have a good rundown of how to use this. Let's see, Decide Hosting has a serious question. Don't you guys think that other page builders, Elementor, are aggressively pushing new features instead of Divi? And Divi must address WooCommerce features. Yes. Honestly, yeah. They're pushing a lot of new features. That I saw Elementor had a really cool feature that I found this morning on just on the internet that I'm going to be trying out. And we use Elementor. We look and see. You know, we like to see what's going on. We're aware of all of that, and we are looking at pushing out a lot more updates. We have a huge slate of them that's coming out. We're working on the header and footer ones, like we said, but that one's and it's done when it's done thing, because we want it to be fantastic. And we want the WooCommerce one has to be done right, because that's people's livelihoods. And we're pushing out, trying weekly updates. We're trying to get things out weekly, and if not every bi-weekly, every couple. We wanted to really get that out there for people, to be able to get new ones, because they are. We have a lot of competition out there, and their features are great. I mean, I cannot lie about that. They're great. I personally, and this, like I said, I was using Divi before I worked here. So, I mean, this isn't even a shill for me. I like using Divi better. Just the actual user experience I tended to like better than Elementor, even though the Elementor can do really cool things. They do have a lot of good features. We are working on getting a lot of them put in. We are really looking at getting a lot of new ones put in. So as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen the list, because that's not where I am. Like, I'm not a development team member. But from what I've seen on GitHub, we have a lot of good stuff coming up. That's just in the pipeline. It's not even coming up like, oh, it's coming up, y'all. No, it's in the pipeline being worked on right now. I've looked at the issues and reports and stuff like that. So I don't know all of them, but we are pushing them, and we will be getting them out a lot. We will be getting them out a lot sooner than we have before 3.1 came out. Hi, Abigail. Hi to Tennessee. That's where I'm from originally. So what part of Tennessee are you from, Abigail? I'm from Lawrenceburg, down in the down in southern middle. Isom, hello, hello. Hi, JK. Had to double check. Nutbush city limits are in Tennessee, so you can have an enthusiastic hello. My favorite place in Tennessee is a place called Bucksnort. That one, whenever I was going to college, I found Bucksnort on I-40 driving west, and that will always be my favorite place. I also have a friend who lives in a place called Bug Tussle. So I love that Tennessee has the absolute best names for places in the entire country, that I've never found from any other states anything that competes with Bucksnort and Bug Tussle. If you guys have anything better than that, please let me know, because I love that kind of thing. Let's see, looking at the comments down here, support Divi because we have a different approach, and we do. I do like the approach. That was actually what sold me on Divi initially, and have great support and community. The community is the reason I love this so much. The community is why I love my job more than anything else, is getting to interact with you guys. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. And thank you, Uncle Social. I try to be honest. That's one of the things that I will always say about working for anyone and anything, is that I will be honest, and I don't want, and our company is like this too. We want you to know that we're here for you, and we're realistic about it. We're here to make things good for you, and it's not something like, yeah, you want headers and footers, we'll do it eventually. It's like, no, we're going to work on that, and we know that that's an issue, because we're users of this software first and foremost. Like I said, I started freelancing, found Divi, and swapped over to it from Visual Composer whenever I started. So I just like this software. So, to move a little bit forward, because I do think I'm going to have to cut out of here fairly soon, I wanted to point you guys in the direction of the first link under the resources section in the description. It is the 8th episode of Season 4 of the Code Newbie podcast. This one, she has an interview with Kevin Scott, who is the CTO of Microsoft. And the stuff I've seen, I haven't listened to the entire episode. I love this podcast. I've never heard a bad episode. And when she gets big company people like this, the ones from Mozilla and everything are always great. I cannot wait to listen to this one about the CTO of Microsoft. And then there is one underneath the resources on questions that you want to ask a WordPress developer that you want to hire, which means for you guys, you designers and you developers out there, read this article so that you can have these answers prepped. You want to be able to answer these questions and need to know what people are going to be looking for in you, honestly, and so that you can have an answer and answer some of these questions first. That makes you seem even more prepared in case they have stuff like this prepared to ask you. And The final one that I just wanted to touch on is something that I've been thinking about a lot over the last few years, is starting an anonymous blog. That should you start an anonymous blog, and 8 reasons to consider it and 8 reasons not to, that WPMUdev.org did. I love the fact that they did this, because when I first started out blogging in 2008, I did it pseudo-anonymously. I did it under the Professor Beej username, because I had just gotten a job at a college, just started teaching, and it was that was basically where my life was, and I didn't know if I wanted people to know who I was. I didn't know if I wanted anything, so I did it the pseudo, yeah, Beej, BJ, that's what people always called me. But nowadays, it's really hard to do anonymity. Like, we have no privacy and anonymity on the net really anymore. And it's been weird for me to think about going back to an anonymous blog. I thought about just having a hobby blog that no one knew was me and just putting out there. But it's hard for me now, because it's I'm me, and that's kind of what I've been on the internet for a while, after I realized that it was like I wanted to put this side of me out there, that this is what I was doing. And it breaks down reasons that you would want to keep your online life separate, that you have these negative connotations of being out there of being yourself on the internet. I know that there was that one of my podcast buddies is completely anonymous, never goes through anything. My podcast partner, he goes completely by his handle on our podcast and everything, even though I don't, because that's his separation between work and work life and real life, rather, and excuse me, and podcast and blog life. Some people, you know, they talk about it being, you might want to do it if you have something called breaking through. They have one called breaking free from debt, that if you're in debt, you may not want people to know that's you, or protecting other people, or tackling hard conversations. You might have it in a freelance contract that you have a non-compete agreement that you want to talk about some of this stuff, so you would do it anonymously. Regardless, it's an idea to think about that can give you a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, because you may not be taken as seriously. There might be legality issues. You might one of the reasons they put not on here, not to do it, is that you can't handle criticism. And I gotta say, you guys, when I started writing for Elegant Themes, it thickened my skin up quick. There were a few times where I got comments from people initially on the blogs that I had posted, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get fired. I got a negative comment on the internet. What's going to happen? And now I see them, and I can take them into being the criticism that they are, because they're not directed at Professor Beej. They're not directed at some username. It's BJ Keaton on Elegant Themes. Like, you guys know me. You guys see my Spider-Man lamp, for goodness sake. And like, you guys are seeing that. So it's hard to take that kind of criticism. And if you can't, then anonymity is a way to do it. So it's interesting. Uncle Social says, an anonymous blog is a great way to vent. I've done that. My personal Twitter is anonymous. He says, let you let off steam without worrying about the nutters turning up at your door. Yeah, oh my goodness, I've thought about that. I used to be, when I played a lot of online games, I used to be one of the bad guys. I used to be a griefer at Ultima Online, and I was completely anonymous then, and probably good that I was in the late 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, I try to be super positive on mine, but that's usually just my personality as well. And Abigail, yeah, you're gonna check out Bucksnort. Not really much of a town. It's just a town. Nothing special. It's got a good name. So yeah, that. Anyway, check that out. Think about anonymous blogging. It's just an idea that I like. And what really started it, there was some local politics stuff. The reason I started thinking about this a long time ago is that there's local politics stuff going on where I live, and it made me I was thinking about this because I wanted to write about this, and I wanted to really dig into this one person who was doing something super shady. And just over the last couple of years here, I thought about starting up a new blog and really pushing it locally. And and anonymously. I mean, I was even going to go through like writing it on Tor and using a lot of protections just to do it, just to see if I could. And what really sparked it was the line from Hamilton, the musical, was I'll write under a pseudonym, you'll see what I can do to him. And that was what I was thinking about with this politician. I was like, oh, I could do it under a pseudonym. I was like, that would be great. And I didn't end up doing that. I chose the high road and did not Hamilton it up, which is probably the best thing that I can say, because I identify with him way too much from that musical. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to cut out. My nose and my head and my voice are about to go. I don't know if you guys can hear it like I can, but my voice is about to leave me. Excuse me. I hope that you guys check out the rest of these articles that are in the description. It is they're all good, they're all great, and the people who have made them have put a lot of time into making this content, so please check it out and give them some love. Additionally, we do this all the time. We're working on building our live streaming audience. We're working on building our live streaming offerings. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe to notifications from us. I appreciate it if you would subscribe in general. But if you want to get notifications about when we go live, there is a bell underneath the video on YouTube, and there is a menu item on your Elegant Themes Facebook page that you can say you want notifications for when this page goes live. I don't know if it's on this video, but I know it's on the main Elegant Themes Facebook page. You can sign up for notifications and you'll get a ding whenever we go live on either platform. So if you want to be a lovely human being and do that, that would be fantastic. And if you don't, you're still a lovely human being. So you guys have a fantastic weekend. Check out these links. Be nice to each other. And try to have the best weekend and the best weekend in WordPress that you possibly can. I will see you guys next Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And remember, the next live stream that we have is Mac going through new Divi features on Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern time. He does that every Monday morning, and it's always good. He has a lot of people showing up to talk with him. It's fantastic. It is great to ask him questions about WordPress and Divi. He answers a lot of those and does what he can while it's live. So it's almost like a Q&A show, but because I know he answers that. Yeah, my connection was healthy this week, and I'm not. It's crazy, isn't it? And posted in the support forum, but notice impact font is missing. It's a web-safe font. I haven't noticed impact specifically. I'm trying to think. I don't know if they've updated that, but yeah, the support forum is where it would be. I haven't noticed impact. There were a couple missing, and I don't remember what I did to fix it. My brain is not working right now. And Jose, for the contact forms, I think one of the most recent updates actually fixed that. You may need to update to the newest version of Divi, but as far as I know, it got fixed, if I'm thinking about the same one. I think so. But anyway, you guys, I will see you guys on next Friday. Check out Mac, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend, my friends.